Okay, in this video, we're gonna go over how to shoot a mid-range shot. So how to really add this part to your game. Now we first need to go over two terms, one motion and two motion. When I talk about a one motion shot, I'm talking about shooting while you're on the way up. So there's no stopping. So a lot of the old school players or bigger players, what you'll see them do is they'll jump and hang and then shoot at the top of their jump. That's what we call a two motion shot. So the difference between a one motion shot and two motion shot is just when you release it. So one motion, think Stephen Curry. Two motion, think Kobe Bryant in mid-range. So I can shoot the same exact shot two different ways, two different motions. So this first one's one motion. I'm gonna jump and you're gonna notice I shoot and release the ball on the way up. I can shoot the exact same shot, two motion. All right, so now you're gonna notice I jump first and then shoot at the top of my jump. For your mid-range shots, you're gonna wanna be able to shoot two motion shots, especially if you're around the 12-year-old and up range. That's when you're starting to develop a little bit of athleticism. And there's a few reasons why we wanna shoot two motion mid-range shots. For one, when we're in this area, guys are bigger. We're closer to the bigs down here. And so when we have help defense, we're gonna have to shoot over the trees. So jumping and hanging is gonna allow us to get over a defender. Now, more important reasons are that we're able to stop on a dime better. Oftentimes in the mid-range, we have forward momentum, right? From the three-point line, a lot of the times I'm gonna cash and just shoot it, no forward momentum, right? But from the three-point line, often drives will happen, right? And that's where you're gonna have forward momentum. If you shoot those on the way up, where you're driving forward with forward momentum and you shoot on the way up, you're gonna find yourselves off balance a lot. A lot of times what I've noticed throughout the years is that players who shoot on the way up will actually fade back because it's their body's natural mechanism to counteract the extra power, right? Because when we're going forward, not only are we closer, so we need less power, but we're also literally going forward. So we have some forward momentum, we need less power there. So in order to control that power, putting it up into the air to kind of control yourself, give yourself a little bit of time to get all that momentum up and then forward will prevent you from overshooting. So a lot of the players who shoot on the way up from the mid-range are overshooting because not only are you closer, but you have forward momentum. So we want to be able to control that power. Now we're going to go over a drill progression here on how to actually get comfortable shooting two motion pull-ups because they can feel quite weird if you've never done them before. But just so you understand why we do it, to get over a defender, to control for extra power. Those are our main reasons, right? The first thing we're going to do is you're not going to shoot, right? You have to first learn how to jump and hang. Okay, so we're not even gonna shoot. We're gonna get into a two-step jump and then just get to your set point and hang. So we'll start left, right. So start with your left foot behind and you're gonna go into a big step with the left. As your right foot hits the ground, that's when you jump. So this is just a two-footed jump as high as you can. So it looks like this. So notice I didn't shoot. I just brought the ball to my set point. I jumped as high as I could and I had good mechanics going into that jump. I went left on my heel, right on my toe. One of the biggest mistakes I see with pull-ups is players like to hop. So they'll go something like this and they'll hop. That's okay if you know that you're doing that. But when we're trying to stop on a dime, we're oftentimes gonna go 1, 2. So I'm not hopping at all. So you wanna make sure when we're practicing here, we're doing that. So when I say heel toe, that means that first step is out in front of us on our heel, and that second step is on the toe or the ball of the foot. That's why you hear a squeak on that second step and not the first step because the ball of the foot goes into the ground. I don't really squeak when I get onto my heel, all right? So heel, big step, toe, all right? If you know anything about jump mechanics, that first step is called a penultimate step. We're not gonna get too far into that now. So now we're gonna get a few reps of going left, right, and right, left, no shooting, just jumping, getting to our set point, and getting comfortable jumping and hanging there. Sure. Now after you've gotten the hang of that, you're just gonna shoot. So we're still not really thinking about the dribble. Obviously, this is a travel. I'm not worried about that right now. We're progressing into this. So now all we're gonna do is hang, get to the top of the jump and shoot. Obviously, if you've never done this before, start close. Sometimes I'll start players below the free throw line. Oftentimes I'll start players below the free throw line. So they'll be shooting mid-range pull-ups from the middle of the key where you would do a floater, just because I wanna get them comfortable. So now we're gonna shoot here, same jump, same footwork going into it, getting comfortable here, all right? Now, after we've gotten the hang of actually shooting there, again, make sure that we're not shooting on the way down, so at the top of the jump, right? So he's jumping pretty high, getting at the top of the jump, releasing from there. If you shoot on the way down, you will be short no matter what. Now we're gonna add the dribble. So the dribble happens as soon as your left foot if you're dribbling with your right hand, or your right foot goes. So the first step before you actually get into your last step, right? So if I'm going left foot back right now, I'm dribbling with my right hand as I step with my left. And then as I'm picking up the ball, it's basically timed up with my outside foot. So if I'm going left, right, I'm timing up this pickup with the right foot. And if we're being technical, we actually want to pick up the ball right before it hits the ground. Right before my right foot hits the ground, I want to pick it up. All right, that's going to make for the most smooth movement and the most smooth energy transfer. So if I pick it up here too early, my foot hasn't gotten picked up at all. Right? And if I pick it up after this foot hits the ground, I'm going to lose a little bit of power actually. Now what we're doing is the same progression, only 2 steps here, and we're sprinting into it off of 1 dribble now. Now as we get the hang of it, we're actually going to turn into it. So now what I want you to do is you're doing the same thing where you're going left, right, or right, left, depending on where you're going. And you're actually going to turn in the air. So now I'm not actually driving at the rim. I'm going to drive at the baseline or the sideline, depending on what spot I'm at. And then while I'm in the air, so I'm not turning like this on the ground, I'm actually ending up here, and then I'm turning in the air. So what you're going to notice is my feet will turn like this, or my hips will turn like this. And the reason we're doing this is because a lot of times you won't actually have straight line drives in a game, so we want to get comfortable with it. So it's going to look sort of like this. And now you're just going to get comfortable with that turn in the air from different spots as well. Again, start close. That's the basic progression I'll have you go through if you're trying to learn how to do a 2-motion pull-up. There's a bunch of different things we could work on with like the pickup timing and the timing with your foot and everything like that. But this is the basic progression of first you just got to get comfortable jumping, hanging in the air. Then you got to get comfortable doing the same thing, but hanging and releasing it. Then you got to add a dribble. Then you got to start adding turns. So that's how to shoot a 2-motion pull-up. If you like this video, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on the rest of my socials to get better at basketball.